lines 9 through 11. Now, normally we run things 50, 30, 20, where the counties and the cities get 30 and 20, but now we've taken that part and taken that away, and now it's going to come under our guidance through section 6. So my question is, how is rural Oregon ever going to get any of that money for paving or anything like that if we do not achieve a carbon reduction? I can understand it in downtown Portland where you've added another lane, but I'm having a real hard time understanding how rural Oregon is going to get any of that money.
So, Senator Girod, just to give you our intent around this section and some of the feedback that we received, 50-30-20 split has been used around gas tax proceeds, and that sort of set proportion works for local municipalities. This fund is going to evolve over time based on allowance sales, based on offset usage. So it's going to be first not predictable like the gas tax has been under previous bills. The second is smaller jurisdictions, even if they get that 30%, may not get enough money to engage in those sort of adaptation projects that they really need to. So we called out underneath that 1% for technical assistance, which will provide resources to our smaller jurisdictions to get ready and look at their systems, prepare for adaptation, or maybe they can do some more planning that they currently don't have resources to do on their own because they're so little, but they don't have staffing to do it. But by doing more of a targeted 50% to local jurisdictions for competitive grants, we can look across the entire state at need. And I think, as my co-chair has mentioned, need will differ. What Portland needs is probably not going to be what your jurisdiction needs, but that way we can look to see who's ready and who needs the money the most.
But if you look at page 10, section 6, then that's going to be the guide. The guide is set up for carbon reduction, which this bill is. So, I mean, we have a huge paving shortage out in rural Oregon. I mean, so if I want to pave a road out in Scioto, this isn't going to apply because it's not going to reduce carbon. And so that's why I'm piggybacking on this section right here is really, really scary for me because I think it's a way for Portland to siphon off the money.
So I'm pulling quickly up and feel free to hop in.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. I think our assumption is that the decarbonization fund is going to be split between projects that are focusing on carbon mitigation, emissions mitigation, and adaptation to climate change. In a presentation that the co-chair and I gave to the Joint Committee on Transportation, we talked about sort of likely scenarios, and we were followed by people from ODOT who kind of expanded on that our expectation is that what you're going to see in the urban areas are going to be more the safe routes to schools, the bus rapid transit lanes, those kinds of infrastructures that will reduce emissions. In the rural areas, we see investments more likely in the adaptation realm, which is equally important under this bill. And there you're looking at, we were told by ODOT that there's a huge backlog in culvert replacement, which becomes more acute under climate change scenarios, extreme weather. We have hillsides that are becoming more unstable, bridges that need strengthening, all because of the extreme weather that we're already experiencing and we expect will exacerbate in the future. It may not be the sexiest kind of investment. Not that paving is any sexier, frankly, but it's necessary. And it's a responsible thing to do if you're living in a world in which climate change is projected to get worse and worse.
And I think to underscore that, Senator Girod, we caught that in subsection C in section A. So, we first, I think to pass muster, we need to be using this program to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. And I think under subsection C, where we talked about adaptation and resilience, the inclusion of this state's infrastructure provides us with that flexibility to get at our urban needs, which are reducing transportation emissions, and our rural needs, which we expect to be more adaptation and preparedness both along the coast and in areas that have, frankly, fewer people who need transit and other things like that. But I won't speak for your jurisdiction because I don't know what it's
Follow, the way it's divvied up now, there's 5 sections, and each section within the state gets a certain amount of money. I don't see any, just the quality of this money, I just don't see it working out under these formulas, I just don't, but maybe that's me.
We have language in there you can look for around geographic equity in prioritization of funds, and that's what we're trying to get at without setting a prescribed amount, because we don't know how, it may be we have a biennium where a particular area of our infrastructure is getting hammered, and we really need to invest there to adapt or mitigate greenhouse gas emissions. I think our needs will change over time as we see the effects of of climate change on our state. So we were trying to get, I think, your point with language around geographic equity there.
We are at the end.
But if we didn't get there, let us know.
Madam Chair, I just want to say, since we have Maureen with us, it would be great if we could really focus on questions that she can elaborate on. I think the co-chair and I are planning to come before you on Friday, and during Friday's meeting, to answer any questions you might have about, the policy goals that, we hope are reflected in this set of amendments. And then we will start to consider other amendments that are out there. And I do want to say, before I forget, on that subject, if you do have amendments that you want to share with us and have posted, please do so.
Yes, I was going to underscore that again before we roll on. I want to get to Representative Marsh and then Senator Golden.